wgnsradio.com for tips, ideas, and locations on where to recycle near you.
Don't be trashy, recycle classy, recycle right, Tennessee.
Recycling isn't just about tossing materials in a bin, it's about knowing which materials are accepted. Go to recyclerightTN.com.
Recycle right, Tennessee.
Broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios, MTE serves members with more than just electricity. Their community outreach team works with schools, parents, and students to provide engaging and unique learning experiences. MTE serving to make life better since 1936.
We'll see periods of showers and thunderstorms here for this afternoon with cloudy skies, a high in the low 70s. Tonight, a chance for some rain, cloudy, a low near 55. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki from the WGNS Rutherford Weather Center. Currently, it's 64.
Hi, this is Dan with Music World and Drummer's Den. Our prices are as good or better than the box stores. I don't think you'll do better by shopping online than you would by coming in. If you're into podcasting, we have starter kits that have everything you need to get started. The interface for your computer or microphone, headphones, you'll be online in no time. If you need a PA, you need lights, we've got all for rent. Music World and Drummer's Den, 2762 South Church Street, right across from the golf course.
We're broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios.
Visit mte.com.
Middle Tennessee Electric, serving to make life better since 1936.
This is a WGNS Action Line. Talking with Rutherford County newsmakers
since 1947.
This is a WGNS Action Line. Now your host, Scott Walker.
Right now that time, 8:20, you're tuned to WGNS. And this morning we'll be talking about Murfreesboro Medical Clinic. And we'll talk about some of their walk-in clinics and when to go to, a walk-in clinic versus urgent care or maybe the emergency room. I'm sure that's one of the biggest questions asked there and probably asked often. So we have with us today Brandice Rakes, who is the Director of Marketing, and then also with us Diana Gingro, Clinical Director of MMC Now Walk-in Clinics. How are y'all doing?
Good. How are you? How are you?
I'm good. So is that the biggest question asked by people, calling in first? Where do I go for whatever the problem may be?
Yeah, it's really the biggest concern because people don't want to use the emergency room if they don't have to use the emergency room. And really, what do we treat? And the answer to that is that we can treat a lot of things that you wouldn't even think about. So we can definitely treat your common cold, your cough, your flu, your COVID, and minor burns, cuts, fall down. But we can also treat some of your abdominal pains, your headaches, and things of that sort that just aren't big emergent problems that would need to go to the emergency room.
And from what I hear, abdominal issues like the norovirus and the super flu also, those are two of the big things going around right now.
Yes, they are. They're definitely on the rampage, them and the flu. So we can get you feeling better a lot quicker and usually for a lot cheaper than the emergency visit could get you.
So those who have, symptoms of the stomach bug of some sort or the flu, do they usually call first or do they usually just show up?
So we have a couple options to help you through that. You can definitely call and check us. We have one phone number for all of our locations, so that makes it a little bit easier. And then we have, you can always walk in and get it straight into one of our clinics, but we also have an option where you can go on our website and save your place in line. So you can start your wait at home, just like you can at some of the restaurants, and that way you've already got steps ahead of the people that are coming in after you.
And I'm sure some people, they probably choose to wait in their car or...
Yeah, absolutely, because you don't want to get, especially if you're bringing somebody with you, you don't want to expose them if you have little ones around. It's definitely an option to wait in your car.
So when you get there, what is the best thing to do? Let's say somebody is driving you there. Should they just come inside, check in, say we're here, we're going to wait outside? Do you call them or what do you do?
It's better to come in. That way we can get any kind of insurance information that we may need, if we need your ID, just so we can check in with you and make sure that you're well enough to wait in your car. We want to make sure that we're not missing any opportunities for you to get care immediately if you would need our help.
You know, it really stinks to be sick, and then first of all, you don't know where to go, or you end up going to some neighborhood clinic and they say, well, we're not taking walk-ins today. You got to call ahead.
Right.
So knowing where to go in those situations really does help out.
Yes, it does. And I have a rule that I say that we don't have to be definitive care for everybody, but we have to provide care for everybody. So sometimes you do come to the walk-in clinic and your problem may be too big for us, and you may need more intensive care. So we get you back, we get you started, and make sure that you're safe to get where you're going and you're going to the right place. Because the worst thing is to go to the next place and they can't help you either. So we want to make sure we safely get you onto the next place if that's something that you have to do. And sometimes that's right into one of our doctor's offices at MMC, because we do have the backing of a large physician group behind us, so we can get you right in with one of our doctors if that's needed.
So that being said, if they don't need to go to, let's say, the emergency room, you could say, well, you really need to go to this urologist and get help right away for this, or you know, whatever the case is, I guess. But you're able to arrange that, maybe schedule that often the same day if it's urgent enough?
Absolutely. Yeah, we can call our doctors and get them on the phone. That's the benefit of MMC, is that we share a medical record. So we have access to your medical records when you come in. We can see all the care that you get from your MMC doctors, and we can reference them so we know the medications that you're taking. We know your allergies, because sometimes when you're sick, you forget that stuff. So it's better to be able to for us to go back and look at that and review it. And we can call those doctors and say, if you're somebody with a complex medical problem, our providers can call and say, hey, Dr. Smith, you have this patient, they're feeling bad. You saw them a couple days ago and now they're back here. What do you think is the best care for them? And that's a great benefit.
Now, at each of the MMC Now clinics, because those are smaller than obviously the large main clinic, what do you have? What different services? Can you do x-rays there? Can you are there doctors at each of those locations?
There's advanced practice providers, so nurse practitioners and physician assistants. Most of ours have had ER experience or ICU experience, so we make sure, since they're practicing out away from the main clinics, that they do have a lot of experience. We usually have access to x-ray and full service labs, but we don't have them in our clinics except for at our Shelbyville Pike location, and then we have them right across the street at our brand new West Lawn location. But we do have testing that we can do: flu testing, COVID testing, RSV testing, and strep testing, that are all molecular testing. So that is very sensitive testing that you can diagnose quicker and more accurate than the test that you're getting over the counter or that they're doing at some of the pharmacies or things of that sort.
So the flu testing, is that one of the first things you'll do? I mean, if they come in with symptoms of the common cold or the flu? Usually.
That's what we try to get you back in the room, and we'll go ahead and if you are having those symptoms, we'll swab you for flu, COVID, strep, and get those running. So that way when the provider's coming in to see you, they already have your treatment plan. They know what's going on with you, and we can speed your visit up a lot that way.
How long do those flu tests usually take? I mean, for you to get the results back?
It's about 15 to 20 minutes for a molecular test. So you're getting, like I said, it's amplified 100 times from one of those tests that you're getting over the counter.
You know, it's funny because I remember as a kid when I would go to the doctor as a kid, and it would take, you know, they would say, well, we'll call you the next 24 to 48 hours or even longer than that for some test.
Yeah, I remember when COVID first started, you were waiting 10 days to get them back, and now we can get that back in 10 minutes. So the testing has advanced greatly, and we are lucky to have that molecular test because it is just wonderful.
And for those who've never had one of those tests, it's not as I guess deep into the nose.
Right. We leave your brain alone now. I always say we just tickle your nostril a little bit. Our job is to make you sneeze and not to make you bleed. So we're just getting in there and getting your boogies all out of there is what I tell them. But it is not as deep and as uncomfortable as those other tests were back in the day.
I'm sure one of the questions people ask is, you know, what about drinking plenty of fluids? Is that something I should be doing right now? I mean, those are things that people call about too.
Every day. No one in this world is drinking enough. Well, I guess there are the people that walk around with the big giant jugs now, but most of the people aren't drinking enough fluids. You definitely want to get about 8 to 10 glasses of fluid a day. Unless your doctor has you on some kind of fluid restriction, then don't listen to that and do what they say. But you definitely want to be getting in a lot of fluids. And if you're sick, it needs to be more. If you have a fever, you are burning off fluids. So you need to make sure you are taking in more. That's real important.
And do you often say to folks who come in, I mean, does this occur often where you have to say, you really need to go to the emergency room? This is a serious condition that you're going through right now, even though you may not realize it.
Absolutely. People will come in and they don't realize that their blood pressure is really high, and that's why they have a headache. It can be dangerously high, and that's where I say that we have to, not be their definitive care, but provide them care, because we want to make sure we get them there safe too, because they didn't even realize they were in a medical emergency.
So does that person at the front desk, is that the first point where they're, kind of observing, this looks a little different than most cases?
Yes, not all of our front desk people are medically trained, but they do have access to our medical people right away, and they know that if something doesn't feel right, they're to get them immediately. So we do a lot of training on sick versus not sick. So if something doesn't feel right, it doesn't look right, if somebody isn't speaking right, if they're wobbly, look short of breath, and you immediately go and get help.
So if you go to one of the walk-in clinics, you don't need to worry about saying, I feel like this is more emergent than what maybe some of the others here may be experiencing, but I think I need help right now. Then obviously they're going to get you help right then.
Correct. We're going to get you back, and we're going to get at least a set of vitals on you and get you started and make sure that you're in the right place.
Now, I know you mentioned some of the locations of that walk-in clinic. The one on South Church, that's the larger one.
Well, not anymore. That's our larger MMC building that we're connected to, but our new West Lawn location that we just opened up on the 29th is now our largest location. We have 4 beds in there, which every one of our other locations have 3 rooms. So we have 4 locations now. We have the one on West Lawn, which is on 840 and Veterans, right over there in that new kind of medical plaza system that they've built over there in West Lawn. And then we have one on Las Casas Pike next to the Kroger. And we have one on New Salem Highway in that Publix shopping center. And then we have the one on Shelbyville Pike that is down on South Church Street, not in Shelbyville. It's kind of just a little bit confusing there with that address, but it's right across from the Joby B. Jackson Walmart.
So the one on South Church and the West Lawn one, those 2 campuses, are the walk-in clinics on the first floor when you come in?
Yes, they're on the first floor to the right. The one on West Lawn is actually not in the West Lawn building. It's connected to the new West Lawn Center building. So it's to the right of the main building.
Okay. And I guess that becomes more confusing when you don't feel good.
Yes, everything is a little bit worse. I always tell my staff, nobody wakes up and says, I really hope I get to go to the MMC now today, right? That's on my calendar. I've been waiting to go. So we really try hard to make you feel welcomed and taken care of when you get there, because it isn't anybody's fun place to go.
Yeah, I don't think it's hard to find good care in general in Rutherford County, but I do think it's hard to find somewhere where you feel like you're getting really good care. Mm-hmm. I think because the population's gotten so big, I think a lot of doctors kind of rush you through.
They do. And I think people choose MMC because it feels like home, right? It's Murfreesboro Medical Clinic. A lot of these doctors have been here for a long time. Dr. Patel we were talking that, he's getting to the end of his time, and he's been here for 25 years. Those doctors, people have grown with those physicians. They're pediatricians there, they're ENTs there. So they're comfortable with their doctors. So when you come to us, you get that same level of comfort. We are not a nationwide clinic that just threw up another building. We are your hometown clinic that just has more access to a big physician group that already takes care of you. So we're able to provide that better level of care for you.
And I feel like, at least I've never been in a situation at MMC where I felt like I was being rushed or the doctor was trying to hurry through. You feel like they're listening to you, and you really don't get that at some places.
No, you don't. And that's probably why sometimes you wait a little bit longer in MMC, right? You're sitting in the waiting room maybe a little bit longer than you wanted to, and that's because they're taking the time with you.
And I guess no matter what, if you don't feel good, waiting it feels like it's a lot longer than what it may be.
It always is a long time, but we are always actively working hard to get everybody back as quick as we can. And that's why that Save Your Place in Line is such a benefit for patients to go ahead and start that wait time before they even come. And they can communicate with us and we can tell them, hey, this location is actually a lot slower than our other locations. So if you want to head on over to New Salem, you can be seen right away, where you were automatically going to go to Shelbyville Pike because that's where you always go. We can direct you 6 minutes down the road and save you hours.
And of course, sometimes over the phone, I guess when you do talk to the person who answers at MMC, they can say, that doesn't sound like something that you should go to the walk-in clinic for. Maybe you should go, and then they'll tell you where to go.
Right, and they'll get you saving some time that way so you don't come in. And we try to really deter people quickly so we don't waste their time. That's something we really don't want to do at all. We want to make sure that we're getting you the care that you need quickly.
Something else that I think makes MMC stand out above just a regular walk-in clinic is that you can also help people with some surgical needs, not necessarily at the walk-in clinic, but you have a facility that can provide that.
Yes, and we have direct contact with those surgeons. So if you had a surgical procedure with one of those surgeons on a Friday and you wake up on Saturday and you're not feeling well, you can come and see us and we can get them on the phone a lot quicker than going to the emergency room and them trying to track them down and go through all that realm of that. Most of them, we have their cell phone, we call them directly. So that's, you may end up, if it's a big surgical problem, you may end up back at the hospital, but we can definitely start that process a little bit quicker for you. Another huge benefit to come into the MMC walk-in is that you pay the copay of a doctor's office visit, not an urgent care visit and not an ER visit. Urgent care visits usually run about $100 copay. ER visits sometimes are up to $150, $200. When you come to the doctor's office, usually your copay is around $20, $25, $30, and that's all you have to pay to get into MMC for the walk-in clinic there, because it's billed just like an office visit. So that's a huge savings too on the front end.
And then something else you were talking about is the fact that if you go to MMC for your primary care and you're used to seeing, whatever doctor it is there, you're able to pull up on the computer at those walk-in clinics the exact description of everything this patient has been through, their medicines they're on now, and maybe their medical allergies, all of that stuff in the walk-in clinic.
Yes, and your doctor gets that information immediately too. So if you're a patient of Dr. Ralph's, she's going to see the next day that you were seen in the walk-in clinic. So knowing her nurse is going to call you in a couple of days and make sure that you're doing better. And that's just good follow-up care. We're also able to directly get you scheduled right on the schedule of some of our specialists. So if you need dermatology, if you need GI, we're able to put you right on their schedule. You don't even have to call their office. We have times held just for us that you can go. We can tell you when you come out of there, you're going to be seen Monday at 8 o'clock by one of their providers, and you leave there with your total package of care.
What would you say is the most common ailment that people have when they come to a walk-in clinic versus going to the main campus of MMC?
It's probably your cough, cold, flu is our main thing, especially this time of the season. It's just that time, and everybody has the sniffles, and it kind of stays around all the time. This is Tennessee, right? So allergies are always allergies. So we do a lot of that, but we also do sports physicals and work physicals too. So we can do those kind of things that come in. And like I said, you do some...
that as a kid, when you're in school, you have to have a note that says, well, this is why I wasn't here today. But asking for that is actually quite common in the workplace.
Yes, we do a lot of doctor's notes. That's kind of our second business, right? So we do that, and we definitely can fill out even leave papers, because a lot of businesses now want intense leave papers, even if you miss a couple days, some of our larger businesses in town. So we have a company that actually handles that for us, so they make sure they get it filled out the right way every time. So we have that number, you just load their papers into that, and they take care of that for us and get it handled for you every time.
And if somebody is sick and they call the doctor and they say, I was in there on Tuesday, but I still really feel bad, do you extend those, like, let's say, doctor's notes? Do you call in more medicine? Is it pretty simple, or do you have to come back in usually?
It really depends on what's going on with you. Sometimes, most of our illnesses should feel better. So what we want to do is what's best for the patient always. If you're not getting better, there's a problem with that. And we want to get you in and see what's going on with you so we can make sure that you're progressing in the right direction. And if you need different care, that we get you there. Or if you need to get in and see your doctor, we can get you right in with them.
And are there some cases where the medicine that you call in, it just may not be right for the patient, so it just is not working, so you have to call in something else?
Absolutely. Urinary tract infections are pros at that. So when anybody has a urinary tract infection, we're just shooting in the dark at what antibiotic would work. We don't know what that bacteria is in your urine. They use the most common antibiotic that will give you the most coverage for urinary tract infections. And then we send out for a culture, and it grows out in 2 days of what bacteria you actually have in your urine. So then we get a report back that tells us the best antibiotic for that bacteria, and we can call you then and switch that antibiotic and make sure that we get you the right treatment for that. And that's just, unfortunately, the way that bacteria goes. You don't get any kind of rapid response on those.
And in those cases, I guess, where they call you back and it may be 5 o'clock at night, and they may say, well, my pharmacy's closed. There are 24-hour pharmacies here that I guess you can call in certain prescriptions for.
Yes, and we can move your medicine to any pharmacy that you want. And it happens sometimes. Sometimes we send your medicine over to Kroger and they don't have that. And you get over there to pick it up, which is the most frustrating thing in the world. You're already sick, you get over there, and now your medicine's not there, and it happens. You give us a call back and say they're out of it, and we'll just send it to the next place for you.
And I'm guessing that a lot of people, they feel hesitant to call back because they feel like they're bothering, whoever is answering the phone. But they shouldn't feel that way because, your job, your goal is to help somebody get better. So if something's not working, if their pharmacy doesn't have whatever the medicine is, go ahead and call back, right?
Yeah, don't ever hesitate to call. That we are there to take care of you. That is our whole job. My people have 2 rules. They have to take care of each other and they have to take care of patients. That is all we have to do. Be kind to each other, be kind to patients, and provide safe care for everybody. And they do a really good job of that. So never hesitate to call.
Do you have those stories of where somebody has walked in with something they thought wasn't very serious and you did send them to the ER and they came back to you maybe a week, a month, 2 years later, whatever the case is, and they said, you guys actually saved my life?
Yeah, we've had people that have come in and they didn't realize they just had abdominal pain, but they didn't realize that they actually had ruptured bowel and had to go in and have emergency surgery. They just weren't having that severe pain yet. So they just caught it early. And some people really have incredible pain tolerance.
Yeah,
so,
it sounds like it.
Yeah, and they just don't feel that. So we've had people that we've definitely had big saves with.
It's wild to imagine having, like what you were saying, a ruptured bowel, but you don't realize it yet. So I guess for some people, they just don't have that. It hasn't hit them. The pain has not hit them yet to the full degree of what it will.
Yep. And you have that, especially kids. Sometimes kids don't realize how sick they are. Kids are the strongest people in the world. They do really good until they don't. And they'll be really sick and not know that they're that sick very often. Sometimes if you do blood work on kids, you see that they're a lot sicker than they present. Or you do a flu test on them and you're thinking this kid looks fine, but they're not fine. They're really sick. So it's definitely good if you have a thought process that you're not feeling well, you need to get them tested. It's always good to err on the side of coming in, getting checked out, and getting care.
And how young of a patient do you guys take there?
6 months and up. So I say we take you from 6 months to the end of time. We'll take you forever. Then anything under 6 months, then MMC Pediatrics is open 7 days a week too, so they can get you in, and we'll get you in over there and help facilitate that if you come to our place.
And are those MMC nail clinics, are they open every day? What days are they open?
Yes, we're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 7:30. We do close from 1:30 to 2:30 for lunch. I know that can be frustrating, but we have to feed the people that work the 12 hours. And then on the weekends, we're open 8 to 5, and we do break from 12 to 12:30 again for lunch. But we are there every day. The only holidays that we close are Thanksgiving and Christmas, so we work all the days.
Okay. And then do you switch some of those nurse practitioners around, or is it the same the same group of nurse practitioners at each location?
We have a core group at each location, and then I have some that float around to other locations too that fill in. We find that if you have the core group at the location, it's almost like your regular doctor. The people in those neighborhoods get accustomed to them, and that's who they're used to seeing. So we like to keep that so you have that familiarity when you go in.
How important do patients tell you it is for them to see that same person?
There's people that love it, and there's people that it doesn't matter. They're just there because they're sick. But there's people that'll tell you that they always see Kaylee at SBK because she's the best person there, and they've seen her. They see her, their kids see her, and that's who they go and see. So it's great to have that familiarity, and that kind of that's my provider, because a lot of people don't regularly see the doctor, even though that's what we tell people to do. They don't have the insurance to get in to do it, or they can't get scheduled the right way to fit their lives. So unfortunately, we pick up the slack for that, and we take care of them. Insurance
today is confusing. And at MMC, at the walk-in clinics, how do you go about helping somebody understand, well, we take this portion of your insurance, but this right here may not work? Or, I mean, how do you go through all of that, especially when somebody doesn't feel good? Yeah, it's a whole different language. So, and it changes all the time. It's January, so it just rapidly changed over the first of the year. My people do a lot of education with it. We make sure that everybody has the most up-to-date information. And a lot of it is just kind of communicating with our team and making sure that everybody asks before we say no. The biggest thing is always to err on the side of trying to see patients as much as possible. We don't want to cause anybody a bill on the back end that we didn't cover them. So it's working with them, trying to coordinate through our programs of Freesia that validates their insurance for us, and making sure that they have coverage, but also just trying to take care of them as much as we can too. Again, on the air with us this morning, we have Diana Gingro, and she is the clinical director of MMC Now Walk-In Clinics, and also Brandice Rakes with us, director of marketing. We're going to take a short break, and then we will be right back. And if you want to text in any questions, you can do that at 615-893-1450. Again, the time right now, 8:45.
The Action Line on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
This is Peter Demas, and our family is inviting your family to come eat with us at Demas's restaurant. We really focus on value. They get value. They get more than what they pay for. They get a higher level service. They get higher level food at a price that is a lot more affordable. What we're trying to do is we're trying to give people the value, and again, that they were fulfilled both within their stomach and as well as their pockets. We want them to feel satisfied. Come eat with us at Demas's restaurant on Northwest Broad Street.
It's time for the Recycled Minute.
Here's a way to save money.
Ideas to cut waste and recycle more in Middle Tennessee.
Rocky the Raccoon here with another good idea on recycling and reusing products. You can make a fun piggy bank, you and the kids, by decorating a clean plastic bottle. So you take that plastic bottle, you cut a coin slide in the top or the side of it, and then you let the kids paint it all up with whatever signature color they want to use. Then you can teach the kids about saving money and sustainability at the same time. Now that's priceless. I'm Rocky the Raccoon.
And that's today's Recycled Minute.
And I'll keep those ideas flowing.
With Rocky the Raccoon. Find the closest place to recycle near you by going to recyclerightTN.com.
That's what recycling's all about. RecycleRightTN.com. Sing loud. Tennessee's leading the crowd.
May your new year be filled with blessings and good health. I'm Terry Deal, Executive Director at Adams Place, where our families join in sending heartfelt wishes of happiness and wellness for the year ahead. Discover Adams Place. Our beautiful community offers water aerobics in the indoor heated pool, a welcoming library, fun activities, and so much more. Start your new year with joy at Adams Place, 1927 Memorial Boulevard, right across from Walmart.
Catch up on the latest community news and events, all before you hit your destination. The Rutherford Roundup. Subscribe today, wherever you listen to podcasts, or visit wgnsradio.com.
The Action Line on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Right now that time, 8:47, and again we're talking about Murfreesboro Medical Clinic, MMC now, and their walk-in clinics. And we have with us on the air Brandice Rakes and also Diana Gingro. And Diana is the clinical director there at MMC Now Walk-in Clinics. How many locations do you have for that walk-in service?
So we now have 4 locations. We just excitedly opened up our 4th location on December 29th. Our first one, our original one, is out at Las Casas Pike. It's at 2042 New Las Casas Pike out there next to the Kroger. And then we have our New Salem one, which is at 2658 New Salem Highway. It's on 99 next to the Publix. And then we have our Shelbyville Pike or South Church Street location. It's at 3626 down on the South Church Street side next to the Joby Jackson Walmart across the street from that. It is connected to our larger MMC building that we have down there, our Shelbyville Pike location. And then we have our brand new one that is at 3337 Shores Road, and it's at the new West Lawn building next door to our main West Lawn campus.
Are some of those clinics easier to get into? I mean, for a patient listening, deciding, well, I've only got this much time off of work, but I need to go to the doctor. Are there some where there's less traffic where they could go?
Right now, the West Lawn Clinic, because it just opened, is our slowest location, but really it varies by day. That's why your best option always is to go on mmcnow.com and go into our Save Your Place in Line button. Click that, and that gives you, you can start your wait at home, and it also gives you the option of texting back and forth with us. So then we can tell you, hey, there's a big wait wherever you want to go, but it's actually a lot quicker if you can go to this location and get in. And we can keep in contact with you in real time about where you can move around to, and you can talk with us.
I know one of the fears is probably, especially for parents, face mask. Do I wear, or do I make my child wear a face mask if I'm taking them here for what looks to be a cold of some sort?
We don't require face masks, but it's always something we recommend. If somebody's coughing and sneezing, it's good to keep your germs to you. It's not always protecting anybody from anything, but it's keeping your yuck to you, is what I always tell anybody. If you've ever sneezed in a face mask, you know what it's doing, because it's the grossest feeling you've ever felt in your life. So it's keeping your stuff into you. So it definitely helps reduce the spread of the germs. So we do ask people that are actively coughing in the waiting room if they will wear one, but we don't have any requirements for that.
And then going back to those stories of where people have, later called you or came back and they said, you really did save my life. In those situations, when you send people, let's say, to the emergency room, do you do so by ambulance? Or do they usually drive themselves or have a friend, or maybe a friend's with them already?
So it depends on what they're going for. Anybody that has anything that's dangerous, chest pain, shortness of breath that needs oxygen, anything that we would think would be a neurological problem like a stroke, severe high blood pressure, we would send them an ambulance. Ultimately, it's always the patient's choice, but we direct them to make the right choice, hopefully. And then we actually communicate with the hospital too to make sure that they have all of our information, and we speak with the doctors to make sure they know our plan of care, so that way they're not repeating things that we've already done, and they're already one step ahead too.
I guess the good thing about that West Lawn location, it's right next to a newer emergency room as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're neighbors, so, and that's a nice quick emergency room too, so we can get you right over there and get you in.
And when you call ahead to let the emergency room know, this is the patient that's coming, this is what they have, how does that play a role in them getting care at the ER?
So we talk directly to, like I said, either the physician or the charge nurse there. We have really good relationships. Like I said, most of my people are ex-ER nurses or ICU nurses, so most of us have their cell phone numbers in our phones because we've all worked together. So we have a great relationship with them, and we're able to call and say, this is what we're sending you. And as soon as that patient gets there, they have hands on them, they're ready to go, and they can get their care started.
That's got to make it a lot easier.
Absolutely.
And probably more comfortable as well for the patient.
Yes, and the information that gets passed on is great. That way you're not getting tests repeated.
Yeah, and they're getting the right information that they're going to need, I guess, because I'm sure a lot of people, they tell you about their entire life when in some cases they really need to focus on what's happening right then.
Yep, they'll tell you about their third cousin's big toe problem, but not tell you that they're allergic to an antibiotic. So sometimes getting people focused on the information you needed is definitely hard.
I wonder why people do that. I mean, there's got to be a reason.
Just get excited to talk.
Yeah. Well, just like telling you about my family. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's a big issue. But when people do come in, what should their focus be? I mean, obviously it should be on whatever symptoms they have, but what are some of those bigger symptoms they need to look for?
Definitely, anytime you have chest pain, you need to be seen by a medical professional. Even if you're coming to the walk-in clinic, if you don't know where to go, just go somewhere. That's important. Let us take care of you and get you where you need to be. If you're short of breath, same thing. Get somewhere, or if you're having any kind of neurological symptoms where you are slurring, weakness, get somewhere fast. The other thing on that, where you would go to the walk-in clinic, if you have fever that is not breaking with Tylenol and Motrin, you can't keep it under control. You just feel like your symptoms are not getting better in 3 to 5 days. It's a cold that's just lingering and you can't get it knocked out. Those are great things to come in and see us at the walk-in clinic. You've had what you feel like is a sinus infection for 2 weeks. We definitely can get you in and get you antibiotics and get you feeling better. Some of those things, why it's always good to not rush to the doctor right away when you get your first sneeze and cough. You don't also have to let things go on forever. Kind of give yourself that 48-hour mark, and if you're not better, come on in and see us and let us get you feeling better.
You know, something I've not really thought about, but I've never been out of town where I needed to go to a doctor. But here, because it's a growing population, you have a lot of people who do visit Murfreesboro. Mm-hmm. Do you have a lot of people who come in from out of town?
We do, especially during the holidays. So people have come in to visit their family. The biggest thing about that, when you're traveling, make sure you either have a portal with all your medical information on it, or you have a copy of your medication list and a copy of your allergies, because that's really important for you to be able to tell people, because you may be so sick that you can't tell something to somebody, or your family is just not around you when you go to the doctor. So the more information you have with you when you go to a place that they don't have your records, the better.
And I know there's certain medications that if you're on, you probably need to be on them every single day, whatever that is. But do you sometimes have people from out of town say, I'm on, let's say, for example, Seroquel, mm-hmm. and I left it at home. Are you able to talk to that person's main physician in whatever town it is and find out, okay, yeah, this is what you should be on, and we'll call in a dose for you for however many days you're going to be here?
We've definitely had to work with patients, physicians to do that for them. And we also have had people that have just moved here. That's a big thing. Like it's not quick to get in with a doctor and establish real fast. So sometimes we help manage their care in that gap that they have. So they may have blood pressure medicine that when they left there, they had 90 days. But they get here, they get settled. 90 days is a really quick time, when you've moved across the country. So before they know it, they have 5 days of medicine left and nowhere to get it. So coming to us and letting us get you started, and then we'll set you up with one of our doctors on the back end to go see them, but we can get that bridge gapped for you.
I never even thought about that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that would be a real pain getting
it happens a lot. Mm-hmm.
And there's no telling how many people per day do that.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of people moving here each day.
Yes, all of them.
And then as far as, I guess, learning what to do from there, hey, this is the doctor I need to go to in the future now that I have this first establishment or first contact at MMC walk-in. Mm-hmm. You're able to help with all of that too.
We are, and usually those people that have moved here have multi-specialty problems that they need to see something. They're like, oh, and by the way, I need a GI doctor. I also needed to see neurology. So we can start them in that direction as well. They don't always have to wait to get in with that primary care doctor. We can send those messages to those doctors and start the establishment there too, because they have known problems. They're not waiting to get a diagnosis. They came with those. So we can start that process for them too.
And I guess that too, somebody having multiple doctors for multiple reasons, that's not uncommon.
No. And you can get your care in one place. It's great to be able to do that. And like I said, our records are all in one spot. So everybody gets to see what everybody is doing. And that saves lives, because then things aren't getting taken off that you should be taking, or mixed together that shouldn't be mixed. The pharmacists do a great job of saying these medications mix with these medications, but people now with specialty pharmacies and mail-in pharmacies and getting drugs like from different countries, you don't know what everybody is taking. So they can't be responsible for catching all that either. So having all your medical records in one spot is a wonderful gift to be able to keep yourself in one area that everybody can see everything that you're doing and make sure you're getting the safest care.
And that's something else I didn't think about. Some people do get their prescriptions from who knows where pharmacies in other states, other countries, I guess. I mean, that happens.
Yeah, and when you come in sick and the provider goes in the room and says, what medicine do you take? You're not going to go through that. You're not going to remember to tell them that you take this one medicine, you take it twice a month, and you're trying to get through, I don't feel good. Just give me what I need.
And then you have some folks who maybe their medicine is a specially made prescription because they can't tolerate whatever is in the main primary, the primary ingredient in that main medication. I mean, this gets really confusing really fast.
It does. And mixing medications can get really dangerous, and especially you think about the anti-COVID medicines, the Paxlovid and stuff. There's certain medications that you're not allowed to take that are very common medications while you're on that. So it is important that we know all the medications that you're on, because you have to hold those medications while you're on that medication. Also, if you have kidney failure, if you have kidneys that don't work well, which is a lot of people, especially our older population, we may have to change the dose of your medication, because we don't want you to take a normal dose that would be normal for somebody at 40 that isn't normal for somebody at 60, because their kidneys just don't work the same. So you may take that medication and have a bad outcome because your kidneys didn't work the same, but we didn't know that because you didn't mention that you had kidney failure, and we didn't have your labs to know that.
And in closing, I know we only have about 10 seconds left. What is the main website that people can start at?
The main clinic website is mmc.com, but mmcnow.com is definitely where you can find us.
Sounds good. Again, been talking about Murfreesboro Medical Clinic and MMC Now. Stay with us. News is next.
The former Rutherford County YMCA site on North Thompson Lane is set to be transformed into a new UFC gym, breathing fresh life into a property that has remained vacant since 2015. Once a bustling hub for community fitness, the location will now feature a full-service mixed martial arts training facility, along with other amenities designed to revitalize the area. Murfreesboro Planning Commission officials are backing the project, with hopes for a summer completion. In addition to the gym, plans include the development of multiple nearby restaurants, promising a complete reimagining of the surrounding space. The Planning Commission also met on Wednesday evening to discuss updates to the city's design guidelines. Elsewhere in Rutherford County, Blackman High School is preparing for a new chapter as head football coach Matt Kreisky stepped down. Kreisky, who led the team for 3 seasons, announced his resignation Thursday morning to spend more time with his family. Under his leadership, Blackman reached historic milestones, including its best season on record with a 12-2 finish and a state semifinal appearance. Principal Justin Smith praised Kreisky not only for on-field success, but also for his deep commitment to all students. The school will begin its search for a new head coach immediately, aiming to continue the program's tradition of excellence, both academically and athletically. That's all for now. If you're looking